thanks so much for joining us. Now, so far, this is not being referred to as a coup, but it certainly doesn't look good for those in power in Mali, does it?
No, it certainly doesn't. We could debate terminology. I think for me, this certainly seems like a coup, particularly now that the president and prime minister have been detained. Though, of course, as you said, we don't know. This is a very fluid situation, and we're going to have to see not only how Malian political leaders and how the military reacts to this, but also, of course, what happens with the international community beyond just the condemnations that we've already seen related to these actions.
So what's behind the months of protests that we've been seeing against the government?
Well, there are a number of factors that led to these protests. The initial kind of spark that generated the protest movement were the legislative elections in Mali in March and April, and the feeling that not only they happened under irregular circumstances, but that some of the results might have been fraudulent or then awarded fraudulently in ways that benefited the ruling party, the RPM. But there's a significant amount of discontent related to the worsening security situation in Mali, related to a sense of growing corruption in the country, poor governance, problems with education. So there really are a number of factors that helped give this fuel, even if the proximate cause were the legislative elections behind the protest movement that started in June.
Now, as we mentioned, the UN has scheduled an emergency meeting for Wednesday. What do you think the international community can do in this situation?
Well, the international community is in a very difficult position because, of course, not only is there a massive international presence, military, but also diplomatic and development in Mali and in the region, but there's been a tremendous amount of effort over the years devoted not just to the country itself, but devoted specifically to Mali security services, to training, equipment, education, and also maintaining close ties in ways that were meant to professionalize the security forces. And so right now the international community largely has condemned these activities, but there's going to be a very complicated series of questions about what they can actually do and what steps they might be willing to take to try to reverse the situation or potentially punish these the military leaders who led this push. And it's very unclear not only what the international community can do, but what they'd really be willing to do, given the fragility of the situation in Mali and in the region.
Okay, political analyst Andrew Leibovich, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks.